Most Canadians have no idea what the average retiree actually takes home every month. The financial industry keeps throwing around numbers like $1 million, $2 million, and it scares people into thinking retirement is impossible. But the real Statistics Canada data tells a completely different story. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you will know exactly where you stand and exactly what it takes to be above the average Canadian retiree in 2026. I'm Alex. Welcome back to Canada Finance with Alex. I went through the most recent Statistics Canada data, CRA tax slip averages, and actual income breakdowns for real Canadian retirees this year. Not projections, not guesses, real numbers. And what I found is that almost nobody is talking about this, honestly. So let's change that right now. Here's the number that matters most. The median single Canadian retiree takes home about $31,400 a year after tax. For a retired couple, that number is about $64,300 after tax. Median means the middle. Half of retirees earn more, half earn less. It is far more honest than the average because a small group of very wealthy retirees pulls the average up and makes the typical Canadian retiree look richer than they actually are. Break those yearly numbers into monthly income, which is how most of us actually think about money, and you get this. A single retiree at the median brings home $2,617 a month after tax. A retired couple brings home $5,358 a month. That is the line. Clear those numbers, and you are above the typical Canadian retiree. It really is that simple. Now, where does that money actually come from? Most Canadian retirees draw income from 6 sources, and understanding each one is what separates people who stress about money and retirement from people who do not. The first is CPP, the Canada Pension Plan. This is the monthly government check you receive for life because you worked and contributed during your career. In 2026, the average person starting CPP at 65 receives around $840 a month. The maximum is $1,570, but almost nobody gets that. It requires maximum contributions for nearly 40 straight years. Plan with the average. It is the honest number. The second is OAS, Old Age Security. This is a separate government check you receive simply for being a Canadian senior over 65. You do not need to have worked to qualify. The full OAS in 2026 is $742 a month for ages 65 to 74, rising to $816 once you turn 75. You need 40 years of Canadian residency after age 18 to receive the full amount. The third is workplace pensions. These are monthly checks your former employer sends because they promised them during your working years. Teachers, nurses, government workers, and long-term corporate employees often have these. About 4 in 10 retired Canadians receive one, and if you do, you are already in a very strong position because it pays for life and usually rises with inflation every year. The fourth is the RRIF, the Registered Retirement Income Fund. When you retire, the government requires you to convert your RSP into an RRIF by the end of the year you turn 71. From there, you must withdraw a minimum percentage annually. At 71, that is 5.28%. At 75, it is 5.82%. And at 80, it becomes 6.82%. Everything you withdraw counts as taxable income that year. The fifth is the TFSA, the tax-free savings account. When you withdraw money from your TFSA, the government does not tax it, and it does not appear as income on your tax return. The government essentially cannot see it. That detail becomes extremely important for higher income retirees, as I will explain shortly. The sixth is non-registered investments, things like stock dividends, bond interest, and capital gains. Most retirees have some of this, and all of it counts as taxable income. Now here is the number that genuinely surprises most people. A paid-off home, average government checks, and just $200,000 in personal savings is enough to hit the median as a single retiree. Not $1 million, not $2 million, $200,000. Picture a single retiree with no mortgage, average CPP at $840, full OAS at $742. That is $1,582 a month from the government before touching any savings. Drawing from $200,000 in savings at a reasonable rate gets them right to that $2,617 median. That is the real number. For couples, it gets even easier. 2 average CPP checks equals $1,680. 2 full OAS checks equals $1,484. Combined, that is $3,164 a month from government sources alone before either person touches their savings. To reach the couple median of $5,358, they only need about $2,200 more from savings or pensions. And if even one spouse has a workplace pension, many couples clear the median without drawing from savings at all. There is also a free tax strategy that most couples completely ignore called pension splitting. If one spouse receives a large pension or RRIF payment and the other has lower income, they can shift up to half of that pension income to the lower-earning spouse on their tax returns. No money actually moves between accounts. It is just paperwork at tax time. But the result is two smaller tax bills instead of one large one, saving thousands of dollars every single year. Pension splitting alone moves many couples from below the median to comfortably above it without earning a single extra dollar. Now, a warning for those climbing higher up the income ladder. It is called the OAS Clawback. In 2026, the trigger point is $95,323 of total income. Once you cross that line, the government begins recovering your OAS at 15 cents for every additional dollar earned above it. By around $154,000 for ages 65 to 74, your entire OAS is gone. For those 75 and older, full elimination happens at around $160,000. This is exactly why the TFSA is so powerful for higher income retirees. A large RRIF withdrawal can push your income over the clawback line and cost you thousands in lost OAS payments. A TFSA withdrawal cannot because the government does not count it as income. Smart retirees spend years building their TFSA before retirement specifically, so they have a tax-invisible source of cash to draw from in their 70s and 80s without losing their OAS. There are two moves that can significantly boost your retirement income, and most Canadians never use either one, even though both are completely free to activate. The first is delaying your CPP. For every month past 65 that you wait, your CPP grows by 0.7%. Wait until 70, and your CPP is 42% larger for the rest of your life. A payment of $1,000 a month at 65 becomes $1,420 at 70. That extra $420 comes every month for life and rises with inflation automatically. The second is delaying your OAS. For every month past 65 you wait, OAS grows by 0.6%. Wait until 70, and your OAS is 36% larger permanently. $742 a month at 65 becomes around $1,009 at 70. Also guaranteed for life. Also inflation protected. If a single retiree waits until 70 to start both, combined government income jumps from roughly $1,582 a month to over $2,400 a month with no stock market risk and no investing skill required. For a couple where both people delay, combined government checks climb from around $3,164 a month to nearly $4,858. That is almost the full couple median coming entirely from guaranteed government income. Yes, you need savings to bridge the gap between 65 and 70. But if you have that bridge money, delaying CPP and OAS is one of the highest return decisions any Canadian retiree can make. Here is the bottom line. The bar is lower than the financial industry wants you to believe. $2,617 a month clears the single retiree median. $5,358 clears the couple median. A paid-off home, average government checks, and $200,000 in savings gets a single retiree there. Couples are already 60% of the way there from CPP and OAS alone. Delaying to 70 closes most of the gap. Pension splitting saves thousands in taxes, and the TFSA protects your OAS if your income grows. These numbers never make headlines because they are not dramatic, but they are real. And now you know exactly where the line is. If this helped you see retirement differently, hit that like button and subscribe to Canada Finance with Alex. Every week, I break down the real numbers behind Canadian personal finance, the stuff that actually matters. Drop a comment below and tell me where you stand against the median right now. I read every single one. See you in the next video.